Hey there, everyone. Welcome back to the channel, Ashley's Oasis. And today I want to give a appreciation to the good men left in the world. Oftentimes, I find that in our world, the negative of anything seems to permeate everything. Um, Men are vital in this world. What they think, how they lead themselves, how they present themselves, how they show up, it matters. It tends to influence a lot more people than we care to realize. But I oftentimes notice that when it comes to good men, they tend to get left in the back and ignored oftentimes. That, these are the men that drive the trucks in this country to take our necessary goods to where they need to go. These are the men that are working on our construction sites and building our homes. These are the men that are lighting our houses. These are the men that are patrolling our streets and our neighborhoods. These are the men that are family men. These are the men that are single who still show up in society and do all the things that they've been taught to do to be a law abiding citizen and all of these things. But oftentimes they get ignored. They don't get the flowers that they deserve. Well, to those few good men left in the world, I want to tell you that I see you and I appreciate you. I appreciate everything that you do. If you are a family man and how you show up for your family, and you are a protector, you're a provider, you give them the comfort and the security that they need. Thank you for doing those things. Not that I know you don't need anyone to tell you to do those things, but you would be surprised to know how many young men in this life really don't know how to be a great provider. And that's not to rag on them, because we all are learning, we all are growing. But for the men that are already doing these things, who've had to figure it out on their own, even, thank you. I appreciate the heck out of you for it, because slowly but surely you're making an impact on this world. And that doesn't just, that's not just for family men, but for the single men in this world too. You guys are a very big contributing factor to what makes our world go round. And if you are a man who stands on doing good and showing up the way that you're supposed to in this world, which is being your authentic self, you're not misogynistic, you're not, being a man or a woman hater or nothing like that. Thank you, because we have enough going on like that in this world. We don't need any more men that are negative influences. We need strong leaders. This world is crying for it. And oftentimes, as a society, we look to men to be those leaders. Um, and I just want to give my own personal appreciation for those men. I do feel blessed that I can count myself as a spouse that has a good man. And I tell him nonstop how much I appreciate everything that he does for not just myself, but for our family, and how he presents himself in this world. That he is not perfect by no means necessary, but he is a man that is well respected, and people honor his advice and how he shows up. Like, people oftentimes ask him, about marital advice and just a slew of things. And I know that that wouldn't be possible if people didn't see the good character that he leads with. He is a very honest man. He's a very hard worker. He's an excellent father and provider. And I love him to death. Like, I appreciate that so much, for that. So, for if there's any other ladies out there or partners that out there that have a good man, hey, give that man his flowers. Tell him how much you love him and you appreciate him for doing the things that he does, because you would be surprised to know that so many of these men go through their everyday without hearing those kind words. They just get up and they're running an autopilot most of the time. They just get up and do what they're supposed to do. And, when you're a good person, ultimately that's what happens. You just continue to show up, whether someone's patting you on the back or not. But that doesn't mean that it's not nice to hear every now and again. Let us give honor where it's due. And in this post, I'm giving honor to those last few good men that are left in the world. You guys are needed more than you know. Your presence is so important in not just your communities, but in the world. Like, you could be that difference. You could be that change to impact a whole generation of future young men coming up to want to walk in your footsteps and to not be like how the world is telling them to be, which is to disrespect not only themselves, but their own women within their own communities and even just women in general. Like, you could be the difference. You could be the change. And oftentimes, a lot of you already are. You may not even realize it, that you have young men that may already look up to you and aspire to want to be like you. So I want to encourage you even more to keep doing what you're doing, good man. Like, I see you, how you get up early in the morning and you go punch in on your job, or if you're working night shift or whatever it is that you do, keep doing it. You are changing lives, not just your own, but others around you. Even if those people are too afraid to say, hey, you inspire me, or I want to be a man, I want to be the man like how you're the man. Like, you have no idea. I recognize that a lot of good men go without receiving any type of accolades. And I really dislike that. And I really want to change that. So that's what, this post is primarily about. You guys recognizing that you're doing amazing out here. And if you haven't heard that from anyone as of late, please let me be the first to say it. Like, you're doing a great job, sir. You're doing amazing. Don't stop. Keep going. Every day that you wake up and you show up, not just for yourself, but for your family, if you have one, your children, you're being all the things. You're being a great father, a great provider. You're making sure your family is intact. Or if you're a single man, you're showing up for yourself. How you care for yourself matters as well. I see you. I appreciate you. Keep going. Don't stop. Don't ever, ever, ever look to these worldly men as an example of how to be the man. Being the man comes with not only respecting yourself, but respecting others. And oftentimes I see the exact opposite. I see so many men that have become followers of other men who don't have a clue as to what being a good man looks like. The examples that are in our country specifically are just, they're not it. I'm sorry. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat that. And I do feel like the good men that are working behind the scenes tend to get overshadowed by these not so good men, the men who don't respect their marriages and cheat on their spouses, or that abuse their children, or and I don't mean like anything crazy, but I'm just saying the ones who don't appreciate the blessing that they have. Because if you're a family man in particular, you having that family is a blessing. It's not something that everyone has. There are some men out there who aspire to be a family man but don't have a family. And then again, if you're a single man, they may not necessarily be your life path to want a family, but you don't mind hearing someone tell you like, hey dude, like, I see you're doing an awesome job out here. You're going to school, you're working, you're doing this or that. Or even if you're a at home parent, because I don't discriminate about anyone's way that they choose to live their life and go on their path. Providing for your family is not just only from a financial standpoint. It's showing up on all the other areas, showing up emotionally as well as physically, and also can be financially. Like, there are so many different dynamics in how you can show up for your family. And so for those men that are doing those things, whether it's in one aspect or another, thank you. If no one's told you, I'm telling you, thank you. And I see you. Don't stop, because you're encouraging me to continue to be the type of spouse that I am to my husband. Because I recognize that, especially if you're working in a certain industry or job force, like you may not necessarily be in an area where people can see the good that you're doing and how you show up for yourself and show up for others. Keep doing that. Keep standing on truth. Keep standing on justice. Keep standing up for what is truly right. Let us go back to a time of calling good good and evil evil, because I oftentimes see that our society celebrates evil is good and good is evil. And that is a problem. That is something that needs to end. We need to go back to recognizing that being good is just inherent. It should be prolific. It shouldn't be something that I have to guess and wonder, oh, well, maybe that person's good. Like, no, I could just see it. And with a lot of these men, like, I can just see it. Those, silent grocery baggers at the store who may not speak up or say a lot or whatever, but they go to work each and every day and bag groceries and put a smile on their face, even if they go home to a cold, empty apartment with a cot on the floor. Like you, you have no idea how some of these good men will sacrifice their own happiness or their own hobbies or passions just so that they can support others. They might have a sick parent at home that they take care of. They might have, you know, children at home that they take care of by themselves. I've been seeing an influx of single fathers out there, and they have my utmost respect. I know of a few of my own like family members that found themselves in similar situations, and I'm blown away at seeing that, because the way our world paints it is that these men don't show up for their families, but that's not true. These have been some of the most magnificent, amazing men that I've ever seen, doing it better than anyone that I've ever seen. And I'm just blown away, because when you've been spoon fed a narrative about what a man is supposed to look like, you don't think for a second that these are supposed to be men that are supposed to be great caregivers and, who can also go to work and, provide, from a financial standpoint, and still come home and show up and be awesome fathers and show up for their kids. Like, no, what we see in our society is that, oh, well, men just go to work, come home and sit on the couch all day and they don't get involved with their family. No, that's not always the case. Or at least that's what our society focuses on. But I want to bring the focus back to those men who are doing everything that they're supposed to do. And just know that if you're one of those good men, what you're doing is enough. Don't let anyone convince you otherwise. You keep showing up for your loved ones. You keep showing up for yourself. You keep pushing through these barriers that try to hold you back, because you won't play ball with the agenda and the narrative of what it takes to be a good man, when in actuality, they want you to be the opposite of that. But yeah, I know it's not easy. It's not easy at all. And that's not me speaking as though I know what it's like to be a man, because I don't. But I can tell you from just the examples that I've seen with my good man, I know some of this stuff to be true. I've seen it happen to him or to others around him. And, men out here, there's a lot of men out here that are hurting. And oftentimes I feel like these are good men who are being neglected. And, it's like it costs us nothing to be kind to one another. But oftentimes men can be some of the most neglected. Good men can be some of the most neglected on this planet. And I, for one, want to bring back honor and respect to those men, because them showing up and being who they are, it is so vital. It is so important. And that's what we need to see more of. So thank you for listening. And then, again, to the good men out there, once more, thank you so much. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for continuing to be the awesome person that you are. Keep it up. Keep going. You got this. Continue to smash through this life, through all those barriers and obstacles. You can do anything. And by you being the amazing leader that you are, you have no idea the generations that you're going to encourage to do the same going forward. Thank you for joining me on this video. And until next time, see you.